are no bad guys, just disturbed guys.
National college baseball writer for CSTV, Eric Sorenson.
Speaking of, this is like Christmas Day for me, by the way.
LSU wins it!
All right, just watch out if they show up with those Houston bats at your doorstep.
Cinderella wins the national championship!
He's Eric Sorenson. He knows everything.
The biggest fan of the sport you'll ever find.
Okay.
Hey there, Stitchheads. How you doing? It's Eric Sorenson here for collegebaseballtoday.com. I'm here at, in case you need to know, obviously the new downtown stadium, which is owned by some corporate name, which I won't pronounce here, but I'm sure it'll change in 5 or 6 years, I'm guessing. So, anyway. I'm here at the College World Series. As you know, it's been a good week. I would say a great week, but it's just been a good week so far. Not the greatest College World Series to come to this year, but it's still a great treat to come to the College World Series as usual because it's where I get my drugs for college baseball. Anyway, so I wanted to start by showing how much of a dipstick I am. Now, I predicted Arizona State and Florida to be the final two teams for the College World Series championship round. I guess we see how that turned out for me, right? I'm an idiot. Anyway, Arizona State probably was the most stunning 0-2. A lot of teams come to Omaha and they kind of crap the rug a little bit, and it just happens. They get on the big stage. But I think all of us were thinking there's no way it would happen to Arizona State this year just because they had so much experience coming back from last year's team. And usually when a team comes back with most of its team returning to the College World Series, they play much better. I think, we saw that with Oregon State after they went 0-2 the first year and then won 2 national titles. LSU went 1-2 a couple years ago. Last year, they won the national title. So I think we all expected Arizona State to be there. It just didn't happen for them, and that was stunning. Florida wasn't as stunning. You still thought there was so much talent there that they were going to pull it out, but they just didn't. And it's kind of unfortunate. I think the upside to all that is Kevin O'Sullivan doing a great job building that program. I don't think it's the last time we hear from them. Duh. Anyway, they're going to be a good team for the future. You know that because of all the recruiting classes they have and all the talent they have returning next year, years to come. So we hadn't heard I don't think we've heard the last of either of those teams. Both of those teams could probably be heavy favorites coming into next year to return to the Field of 8 in Omaha. So it has been a College World Series that I think the ghost of Johnny Rosenblatt has really kind of been a specter over everybody's shoulder this year because I think he's mad that the venue is coming to this edifice that we see behind us because we've had crappy weather, we've had some pretty boring games, bad weather being a lot of rain early on, then the heat took over. Yesterday, on Saturday, we had crowds of 10,000 for the first game, 12,000 for the second game. Those are the lowest crowds they've had at the College World Series since 1991. And that was the year that the stadium only seated 14,000 to begin with. So you kind of see where the heat made that happen, I think, more than anything. And the whole stretching out of the College World Series CA has done the last few years, which kind of sucks. A lot of bad things about this year's College World Series I kind of already touched on. You guys know that the whole human foot traffic that they had going, the human trafficking they had going this year was awful. The grounds were surrounded by fences. It was apparently the idea of the governor of Nebraska. Way to go, governor, idiot. In between games, going to Zesto was nearly impossible. They only had 4 gates around the whole grounds where you could walk in and out of, and it was pathetic. So I hope that doesn't carry over to next year where we're going to have even worse situations like that to walk through, because that was a real pain in the ass. But I'm not going to be a total sourpuss about the College World Series this year. Even though there was a lot of bad things about it this year, it was still great, obviously, and for those of you who didn't get here for the series this year, it's still a great event. It's still really impressive to see these kids just playing their hearts out. It's like they're almost playing for their lives out there, and to see the emotions that come out after. I'm not a big emotional kind of guy, but when you see the coaches and the players like genuinely hurt and genuinely emotions after they get eliminated, it's pretty palpable. You can tell that it means a lot, obviously, and it's a tough situation to kind of watch. Kind of a tough thing to see teams pack up and go away, especially TCU and Clemson, who came so close to the championship series. Moving on from that, let's talk a little bit about the final series between it was USC and UCLA. I'm so used to saying that being from Los Angeles, but this time it's South Carolina being the USC, and of course UCLA with all their great pitching should be a great series. So I think the underlying story about these two teams, I think what we've come to find is, I don't take this the wrong way. God, please, Carolina and UCLA fans, don't take this the wrong way. But I think it does kind of show that the best teams don't necessarily win national titles anymore. I think that's kind of been a long-gone conclusion. Once in a while they will. I thought LSU was the best team last year, but this year it's kind of weird because I talked to Ray Tanner a few months ago, about a month ago, and I asked him, I said, so how does this year's team compare to some of the best teams you've had, 2002, 2004, like those teams? And he said, you know what, we really don't. We don't compare as good as those teams. We don't hit as well. We're not as deep pitching-wise. So I thought that was kind of a really interesting statement that he made. And UCLA got off to a great start, 22-0, I believe it was, and then they kind of hit a little bit of a rut. In fact, I saw them get swept at Arizona State, or at home against Arizona State. And I started to think maybe they're not the bee's knees. Maybe they're not quite what they should have been, or what they could have been, or what they were ranked at the time. But they've made a nice rebound. I mean, they've got on a hot streak here in the past few weeks, and that's perfect. That's what you need, is to get hot during the postseason and make your run for Omaha at the right time. And I think that's what they've done. Both teams, neither one of them is going to really knock you over with great offensive numbers. Both of them hitting the low 300s. But of course, in this stadium, you come here in summertime, and the hot winds blowing from the south, all of a sudden you can become a big home run team. I think both teams have shown some power here in Omaha. But again, nothing that's going to overwhelm me. I think obviously the big thing is UCLA is going to have a good advantage having fresh Garrett Cole to go in the first game. And he's a big arm. He had a big performance the other night. He's a great guy to have on your side, and I think also behind him, Rob Rasmussen will probably pitch a little bit better this next time when he pitches. Garrett Claypool's there, and of course Dan Klein in the pen. I think UCLA has a little bit of an advantage just because their pitching quality is so deep. The other thing is, don't count out South Carolina. Obviously, I'm not going to do that. They're a great team. Here's the deal, guys. I think if they get another transcendent pitching performance like Michael Roth showed us the other night, if they get something like that, be it from Roth or be it from another pitcher in their stable, beyond Blake Cooper and Sam Dyson, who have thrown a lot of pitches here so far this week, if they get a great effort like that, they've got better than a puncher's chance at winning this thing. Their offense is good enough. Slight advantage UCLA, pitching-wise. USC will have to really jump up. They'll have to get somebody to step up big time to win this thing. So this will be it. I guess, as you guys know, hey guys, I think that's Jim. Mind if I call you Chico? Anyway, I think the thing is, I'm not a big sentimental guy. I grew up going to these games here at the stadium. I'm not a big sappy person. I'm not sad to see this place go. It's time to get the hell out. Had a lot of great memories here, obviously. Sorry to see it go. So it'll be kind of a nice send. I think UCLA and South Carolina will be a nice send-off, but let's get the hell out of here to where we can walk around a stadium again. Let's get down to the new stadium and see what that's going to be all about. Love you, Rosenblatt. You've been freaking great over the years. You've had a lot of memories for me personally and everybody that comes to these games. It's a really great venue, and sorry to see it go, but it must go. Anyway, guys, thanks again. I'll have another wrap-up next week, probably after the College World Series is over. As always, thank you for reading. Thanks again, everybody. Thanks for reading. See you later.
Gonna wait for Chico there.